My name is Gaël. I am an actress, theatre and filmmaker from the Amazon, Brazil. And now I'm also a writer. Yeah, I've been commissioned a life writing story by Wasafiri magazine, and you can read the story in this edition here. I'm going to read a passage for you right now. I hope you like it. The Flood of Apinagés Lane. My hometown, Belém do Pará, is a crammed urban complex standing between the edge of the rainforest and an embrace of the Guamá River. In Tupi language, Guamá means the river that rains. It is said that the river's spirit causes heavy downpours to fall every single day during the 6-month rainy season. I lived in a house that flooded. The landlord did not tell my parents that this was the real price for the cheap rent. The flood left behind more than a little puddle of water, rather a meter-deep swimming pool into which I, then 10 years old, was dying to dive and practice freshly learned butterfly strokes. The flooded house was on Travessa dos Apinagés. Though my street was referred to as a lane, Travessa, it was the length of a river. Its name honors the homonymous Apinagés people whose ancestral land was cut in half by a long stroke of asphalt, the Transamazônica. At the time, I didn't know anything about the Apinagés, except that their existence was honored with a street plaque I looked at every day when walking to school. My family wondered if our house flooding was a curse. My mother had married a white man. She shared her hammock with him during a 2-week boat trip down the Amazon. Then they hooked up for life, something frowned upon by every single woman in her family, including my grandma, Vó Janaína, the queen of curses. Vó Janaína was a small, harmless, cacao-skinned lady whose cute bird-like features concealed ancestral superpowers, often used remorselessly against her enemies. Luckily, Vó Janaína, sometimes shortened to the tender Jana, didn't have that many enemies, except on occasions when she decided to take justice into her own hands, like the time when my auntie Tia Maíra was a teenager. Tia used to have afternoon naps in the courtyard in a swinging hammock attached to the 2 jambu trees. One day, the next-door neighbor was caught in her hammock, trying to touch her personal territories. Vó Jana, with my other 4 aunties as a chorus, ousted him from the courtyard. Next thing we knew, the man had had a fishing accident. It might have been caused by a bad wire or a faulty rod. Whatever it was, his wheelie went missing, or a bit of it went missing. We are not too sure which bit. My aunties did not knock at his door to check, but we know it happened. Another time, Vó Jana placed a curse to avenge Jaci, my first cousin once removed. They were fabulously tall, long-haired, charming, and outspokenly gay at a time when the LGBTQ pluses had to hide their truth. Jaci was nicknamed O Cantador of the Arsenal Lane in his bus driving job. They used to sing along to the protest songs from the outrageous band Secos e Molhados and the hippies Novos Baianos. They brought daily to work their own battery-run cassette player that they would carefully place between the driving wheel and against the front glass. One day, before the rain, Jaci was fired from their job, without notice, without plausible reason. 3 days later, the owner of the Portuguese bus company became unwell. It's said he spent 2 weeks in the loo, pouring out all sorts of liquefied content from every orifice. The doctor blamed the manisoba dish that the glutinous man ate at his godson's 30th birthday party. They suspected it was not well cooked. This popular Amazonian dish must be cooked for 3 to 5 days for the cyanide poison of the manioc to leave and to evaporate. No one else but the Portuguese man had fallen ill. So Vojana thought at first that her curse had worked, when in fact it had backfired. The godson, pressured by his godfather colonizer, fired Arasi, the indigenous cook who had prepared the manisoba dish. My Nana Vojana would go into a deep meditative state after the curses, analyzing every step she took to make them happen, questioning if a change of earth element, portion, or words was needed for further accuracy. When I asked my grandma if she'd cursed my gringo dad, she crisply denied any involvement with our ancestors' beef and promised she would never ever direct a curse towards her own family. To prove her fidelity, Vojana turned up one day after the rain with her paraphernalia of oils, herbs, fumes, and mud pots. She called us one by one, mine, myself, and hesitantly, my dad.